You think you know loyalty? Think again. What if the one you waited for wasn't truly the one who returned? We dive into tales where the purest bonds become the darkest nightmares, stories where devotion turns to dread, and where the animal lessons we learn are anything but heartwarming. On this channel, we explore the chilling intersection of unwavering animal loyalty and emotional horror, weaving narratives that dig deep into the unsettling aspects of pet ownership. These aren't just ghost stories, they're echoes of the quiet fears that lurk beneath the surface of profound love. Today, we unearth a story about pure, stoic canine devotion and the chilling, distorted truth that waited at the end of the longest, loneliest vigil. This is a story that will make you question the very nature of trust and the true cost of waiting. For years, the old farmhouse had been a beacon of warmth for its sole four-legged occupant. The dog, a creature of unassuming brown fur and eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 sunsets, lived a life woven into the rhythm of its owner's days. Mornings meant the clatter of a bowl, followed by a pat on the head and a walk through dew-kissed fields. Afternoons brought sun-drenched naps on the porch, a paw occasionally twitching in chase of dream rabbits. Evenings were for quiet companionship, the soft rumble of a human voice, the comforting weight of a hand on its fur. It was a simple life, a good life, built on the bedrock of routine and the unspoken contract of love between a dog and its human. This dog, whose name we don't need to know to understand its heart, knew only loyalty. It was the purest form of devotion, a steady flame that burned without question or demand. Then, one morning, the rhythm faltered. The clatter of the bowl was followed not by a walk, but by the hurried packing of a bag, a kiss to its head that felt different, more urgent, less playful. The human, its owner, its world, spoke soft, reassuring words, promises of "I'll be back soon, boy," but the scent of fear, faint but unmistakable, clung to the air. The owner left, a final wave from the truck, and the dog sat, as it always did, at the edge of the porch, watching the dust trail disappear down the long, winding road. This was familiar. The human often left for a few hours, sometimes even a full day, for supplies or errands in the distant town. The dog knew the drill. It would wait. But this time, the hours stretched, then blurred into a full day. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery oranges and purples, but no headlights cut through the gathering gloom. The stars emerged, pinpricks of light in an inky black canvas, and still, the road remained empty. The dog curled up on the porch, nose tucked into its tail, a low whimper escaping its throat only once, a sound quickly swallowed by the vast silence of the countryside. This was unusual. A small knot of unease began to form in its chest, a feeling alien to its usually placid existence. The second day dawned, gray and heavy. Hunger gnawed, but the dog didn't move from its post. Its eyes, usually bright with life, had taken on a dull, almost bruised quality. Its ears, once perked at every distant sound, now lay flat, resigned. It walked to the edge of the road, sniffed the lingering scent of its human's truck, then returned to the porch, settling back into its vigilant posture. Its loyalty was a stubborn thing, a thick, unyielding rope that anchored it to this spot. It wasn't just waiting for a return, it was upholding its end of the unspoken bargain. It was the house's sentinel, its guardian, its ever-present hope. This stoic loyalty, this unshakable faith, was not just admirable, it was becoming a prison. Days turned into weeks. The dog's frame grew gaunt, its fur matted with dew and dust. It would occasionally hunt a small field mouse, or lap at rainwater collected in a hollow, but its primary focus remained fixed on the road. Neighbors, sparse and distant, sometimes drove by, shouting concerned words, leaving bowls of food and water. The dog would approach warily, eat only enough to survive, then retreat back to its post, its gaze never straying from the dusty path. They didn't understand. It wasn't just hungry, it was waiting. For its human. For the familiar scent, the unique gait, the particular sound of its truck. Anything else was just noise, just distraction. This intense, singular focus, this raw, unadulterated dedication, was slowly twisting into something else, something desperate and almost terrifying in its purity. It explored the confines of its suffering, pushing beyond hunger and thirst into a space where only unwavering purpose remained. The seasons changed. The vibrant greens of summer faded to the fiery reds and golds of autumn. The air grew crisp, carrying the scent of wood smoke and decay. The dog, now a shadow of its former self, moved with a stiff slowness, its joints aching from the relentless vigil. Its eyes, though sunken, still held that fierce, unwavering light of expectation. Hope, though battered and bruised, refused to die. It dreamt of the familiar touch, the scratch behind the ears, the warmth of a shared moment by the fireplace. These dreams sustained it through the bitter nights, through the driving rain that soaked its fur to the bone, through the lonely howl of the wind. Then, one twilight evening, as the last sliver of sun bled from the sky, a faint hum reached its ears. A vibration, subtle at first, then growing steadily stronger. It wasn't the truck, not yet. It was something else. The dog, despite its exhaustion, lifted its head, a flicker of something ancient and primal stirring within it. Its hackles, long matted, raised slightly. The air grew cold, not with the chill of approaching winter, but with an unnatural, piercing cold that seemed to seep into its very bones. Down the long, winding road, where the dirt met the encroaching shadows of the forest, a shape began to emerge. It wasn't the familiar, sturdy outline of the old pickup. It wasn't the upright, purposeful stride of its human. No, this was different. Distorted. It seemed to shimmer, as if seen through heat haze, or water. It walked with an unnatural grace, too fluid, too silent. It was tall, impossibly so, and its edges seemed to blur with the deepening twilight. The dog whimpered, a low, guttural sound, deep in its chest. Its tail, which hadn't wagged in months, remained rigidly still. Its intuition, honed by a lifetime of instinct, screamed danger. This wasn't right. As the figure drew closer, the dog's breath hitched. It was undoubtedly human in shape, but horrifically wrong in every other aspect. Its limbs seemed to stretch and contract with each silent step, like elastic pulled taut then released. Its head, though vaguely familiar, lacked definition. It was a shifting mosaic of shadows, of familiar features twisted into grotesque approximations. Where eyes should have been, there were only deeper pockets of darkness, drawing in the last vestiges of light. The dog's keen nose, which could identify its human from a mile away, now registered nothing but an overpowering scent of something sterile, something ancient and cold, like dust from a forgotten crypt. No sweat, no familiar human warmth, no earthy comfort. Just cold, dead air. Yet, there was something in its gait, in the angle of its shoulder, in the way it carried itself, that echoed the owner. A ghostly, horrifying mimicry. The dog's heart hammered against its ribs, torn between the primal urge to flee and the unwavering command of its loyalty. Its human was here. But this was not its human. Not anymore. This was a desecration of everything it had waited for, a mockery of its boundless devotion. The figure reached the mailbox at the end of the driveway and paused. It didn't look at the dog. It didn't acknowledge the weathered porch or the silent farmhouse. Its head, that shifting mass of shadows, simply tilted slightly, as if listening to a frequency beyond the range of any living ear. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. The dog could feel the air crackle with an unnatural energy, a pressure against its eardrums. It was like standing at the edge of a great void, feeling the pull of the emptiness. Then, slowly, mechanically, the figure raised a hand. It was long, too long, and its fingers were skeletal, stretching with a sickening snap. It reached out, not towards the dog, but towards the empty space where the dog had last seen its owner wave. Goodbye. It made a gesture, a precise, deliberate motion that was eerily familiar. It was the same wave its owner had given it that last morning. A wave of farewell. A wave not of return, but of finality. The dog, in that moment, understood. The raw, guttural sound that tore from its throat was not a bark of greeting, nor a whimper of fear, but a mournful, agonizing howl of absolute, unyielding despair. Its vigil, its profound, unwavering loyalty, had not been rewarded with a reunion. It had been met with a terrifying echo, a chilling imprint of what was lost. The thing standing before it was not its human. It was the ghost of a promise, a horrific manifestation of absence. And a dark, twisted testament to a love so strong it had pulled something else back from the brink. The dog, whose life had been defined by waiting, now found itself face to face with the horrifying truth. Sometimes, what returns to you is not salvation, but the very essence of your greatest fear. The shadowy figure then turned, its movements still eerily fluid, and began to walk towards the farmhouse door. It didn't open the door, it simply merged with it, dissolving into the wood grain, leaving behind only the lingering, unnatural cold. The dog remained frozen, its howl dying in its throat, replaced by a shuddering silence. Its loyalty, once its greatest strength, had become its undoing, binding it to a fate far worse than simple abandonment. It had waited, stoically, faithfully, and in return, it had witnessed the corruption of its most cherished bond. It learned that some absences are so profound, they leave a wound that refuses to heal, attracting the darkest things to fill the void. The dog was still waiting, but now, it waited for the unknown, for the next horrific whisper from within the walls of its once safe home. It had waited for an owner, but something else had come back to claim its place, to haunt the very air the dog breathed. This unsettling tale reminds us that the bonds we forge with our animal companions are powerful, almost sacred. But what happens when that sacred trust is breached, not by malice, but by the cold, indifferent hand of fate? What if unwavering loyalty doesn't lead to a heartwarming reunion, but instead, beckons something ancient and sinister from the darkness? These emotional horror stories, rooted in the very core of our connection to animals, aren't just about scares, they're about the vulnerability inherent in such deep love. They explore profound themes of loss, abandonment, and the chilling thought that the very thing we cherish could become a conduit for our deepest fears. This dog's journey teaches us that some loyalties are so potent, they draw not just life, but something far more terrifying, back from the great beyond. Leaving us to confront the hidden horrors lurking within our most cherished relationships. If you're brave enough to explore more chilling stories that twist the meaning of loyalty, subscribe to our channel.